Hey everybody, I'm Jay, and welcome to part 4 in the Guide to Running the Grimoire campaign setting for Spheres of Power by Drop Dead Studios. The series is inspired by Spheres of Power world-building semi-contests. So here we go to part 4. Today we're going to talk about Córeans and Draconians. The Córeans are raven folk who live on the eponymous Mount Córea in a rookery called Bristlebane that sprawls across the mountain range. They are guided by the tenets of a stranger known by many names, but the Córeans call him either the First Raven or Stormcrow. Before the Cataclysm, the Córeans lived in a tundra forest near the North Axis. Due to the prophecies of their seers, the Córeans were able to escape before they were cast out into orbit along with the North Axis. Afterwards, when they attempted to return to the tundra forest, they found the Seraphim had already erected the Pyrium Spire in its place. Seeing the Seraphim as opportunistic squatters, the Córeans made a pact with the First Raven to blind the Seraphim, a curse which was almost immediately mitigated by the Seraphim's eldritch patron. Enraged that even revenge had been stolen from them then, the Córeans now seek to confound the Seraphim any way they can and eventually reclaim the Eye of the World in the name of the Stormcrow. Notable members among the Córeans are Carawang, whose name means magpie, the bearer of Vulcanus, the Fire of the Forge, one of the 5 staffs of power. She was also a founding member of the Council of the World Soul. Carawang perished when Vulcanus was broken by the command of Tallulah the Siren. Adapting Córeans to Grimoire, Córeans use the stats for Tengu, except they have a fly speed of 60 feet. Córeans lose sword trained and skill bonus stealth and gain hatred against Seraphim. Córeans have the Córean subtype and their own language instead of Tengu. They add Abyssal and Infernal to their list of bonus languages. Córean spellcasters prefer the Weather Sphere and electrical-themed packages and talents. All right, so on to Draconians. On to Draconians. There is little one can say to a Draconian, as the lizard folk waste little breath with speaking. Instead, they let their fierce elemental exhalations do the talking. Originally from the Sinha Desert, or as the Leonians call it, the Akadis Desert, they have spread out across Athanasia to subdue every other race they encounter, establishing nomadic camps for weeks to months before moving on. Each tribe tends to roam across one particular region of the world, and this familiarity has made it easy for them to travel quickly through this terrain at need. Draconians can live for thousands of years if they are not slain by sword or sickness. Born with vestigial wings, Draconians continue to grow in size over the centuries until they become fully fledged dragons. Every Draconian tribe owes its allegiance to the tribe's oldest member, the Ajgara, which is a true dragon who has grown so enormous that her superiority cannot be questioned. Very few Draconians make it to this stage, however, as the Ajgara has a tendency to conveniently get hungry around the time one of her descendants becomes a legitimate threat to her superiority. Notable members among the Draconians, there aren't really very many by name. Many stories are told about the Ajgara, and each has a true name, but none outside their tribe has been able to ask what it is and escape alive. Escape dead, yes, but it's hard to talk when you're dead. So instead, the dragons are simply known by an appropriate description of their reputation, such as Kunti, Spear, who has impaled many challengers on her fearsome tail spike, or Athanka, whose name means terror, who regularly terrorizes human villages. When you adapt the Draconians to Grimoire, you would want to use the stats for lizard folk from the Advanced Races Guide. It's found in the back section, except that they lose swim and they gain vestigial wings, breath weapon, and terrain stride. The Draconian spellcasters prefer aggressive magic and therefore favor the destruction, enhancement, and war spheres, as well as themed packages and talents that relate to their breath weapon element. So you might consider using specific alternate racial traits to distinguish between species of Draconians, and then I'll list the different species of Draconians in the description below so you can see how each of those breaks out for their breath weapon and terrain stride abilities. So that's it for part 4. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you again for part 5.